Welcome in. Good afternoon. It's the Run In with Roman show here on 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, Big X Sports Radio. My name is Roman Kelly. I'm joined by Matt Childress as we take you guys up till 2:30, right to the start of the Mike Rutherford Show. Per usual here on the Big X, there's a lot we're going to be getting into, a lot we're going to be discussing, a few different chatter points for today. But, of course, it all starts with you guys on our Gameday Men's Health text line at 502-414-1450. Gameday Men's Health is redefining men's wellness. No shortcuts, just results. Testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMensHealth.com. Defining a new era in men's health. Matt, I golfed today.
Love to hear it.
Didn't shoot well. Got out there at 7 a.m. for the tee time at Seneca. A buddy of mine texted me last night, kind of late in the night.
Was it empty over there?
No. Like these got a foursome in front of us walking. All four guys had like those robotic, electric, remote-controlled walker carts.
Look, I'm going to let you finish your story, but I'm going to cut in just a second. Hot take here. Unless it's a country club, no walking. Get it out.
Get in the cart.
I'm sorry, but like, there's not enough people. Look, I get it's exercise. I love that for you, but there's not enough people walking a public golf course. If it's a country club and you're paying for a membership, more power to you. If you're not a country club, get out of the way.
I'll say unless it's twilight hours.
That's different. Because you got to get the carts in early anyway. That's completely different.
There's a large community of elderly golfers who enjoy the walking. That's part of their exercise for their life is when they go and walk while they golf. And I get that. Go to a country club, And I feel like they try to get out there early at 7 a.m. to prevent it. There's people with carts behind them, people walking all around the place. They were pretty fast for walkers, but with that being said, you still, each hole we're waiting for the last guy to get his iron shots off. Nevertheless, we shot a 116, not as good as the 106 we shot there. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We shot a 118, Matt, which terrible compared to the 106 we shot. This is how it goes sometimes. 61 on the front, 57 on the back. We'll improve. We're going to get better. I was overthinking every iron shot until the 11th hole, and I just stopped thinking, just made sure I was swaying my body and had my wrist angled how I need to. And then, of course, you don't think about anything other than the two basic things, and boom, you start hitting them correctly. The chips start going the direction I wanted them to, but it was a little bit too late to make it up, though. But as long as you're improving over 18 holes, that's
you got to let me next time you go out, I'll bring my driver in for you.
That's okay. Let me know.
We can trade. You can give me Dungeon Crawler car. I'll give you the driver.
Just bring it tomorrow. I'll bring you the book.
All right, I got you.
But that was fun. There was a story we didn't get to yesterday, Matt. I want to get into today, centered around Derby. I want to get into the NBA from last night. What was your night last night? How's your day been so far?
So when I left here, I went over to the girlfriend's house, gave her graduation gift, and hung out with her
What'd you get her?
So obviously everybody here knows about the dogs we've talked about endlessly at this point. So I had my mom, actually, who is really big in crafts, loves crocheting and stuff like that. So the dogs had specific blankets they each liked. So I had my mom, for her graduation gift, cut up the blankets and turn them into a throw pillow.
That's cool.
All of the dog's blankets are into a pillow. She loved it. She started crying, but happy crying, she was just excited to have it. So
it was very intentional, thoughtful gift right there.
Yes, I pat myself on the back here. It took a lot of thought.
A little bit of money too.
Yes, a little bit of money. I'm not ever mad about that. You and I obviously not the richest people in
how we have to maneuver these days in life.
But no, that was fun. Got to hang out with her.
Buddy who offered me to golf paid for it today.
Yep. I mean, I never turn anybody down when they say that. You always got to hit them with
7 a.m. I don't wake up that early. It's about 8 a.m. alarms going off on hole 6 or whatever.
You always got to hit them with the, look, you don't have to do that. And then they're like, no, it's okay. You're like, all right, I'll go ahead and go. But before that, I went to Five Guys for the first time in 5 years or something. So
are you balling or not, Matt? Jeez.
I'm not. No, the only reason I went.
The reason you went to Five Guys is why you couldn't get her another extra gift on top of that.
The only reason I went was because one day I covered for Scoots in the morning, and I cover for him all the time because I usually have free time in the mornings. I mean, I'm trying to find a job, so I won't have that much longer. But if he ever needs it, I need the extra money anyway, so I always cover for him. Well, one day I come in here, he has a Five Guys gift card laying down, and I make a joke. I'm like, ha, is this for me? He's like, no, that's actually for you. You can have that. That, I appreciate it. So he got me a $25 Five Guys gift card.
That's clutch.
I don't go to Five Guys.
That's half a meal there.
For this specific reason, I tweeted about it yesterday. It made me very angry. A burger a fries and a drink cost me $24. And there were people just sitting outside of Five Guys, enjoying the summer, the spring night, the spring twilight hours, eating Five Guys. I'm like, you pretentious people, you are feeding this company money for no reason. This is for a burger, fries, and a Coke, $24. This is outrageous.
I remember when it was like $16, and I was like,
we're talking the glory days. $16 is still crazy. 24.
That was like junior year of high school for me.
If I went to a McDonald's with a $25 gift card, I'm getting the family meal. I'm stopping at your house, Roman. I'm like, what you and Holly need?
Yeah, you're giving burgers out to the homeless.
$24.
That's crazy. Well,
that was my night.
You had good dinner. You had a good dinner at the end of the day.
Oh, it was gas.
You had fun with your girlfriend. Got her a graduation gift. Had a thoughtful, emotional, romantic moment about that. So that's awesome.
How was your night?
My night was normal. Not anything too crazy. We did an In-N-Out podcast last night, and it was our live show on the Real Spiel podcast, the In-N-Out show on the Real Spiel podcast, which is our NBA show on there. We got like our best live interaction we had on there yet. We'd gotten good viewers, especially on the X profile when I remember to retweet it on my personal one. But with that being said, it was a lot of commenters, a lot of disagreeing in the comment section, a lot of like one commenter disagreeing with another commenter, and both of them not really agreeing with either one of the two hosts, me and my co-host Nazir. It was still a fun time, though, if you guys want to go check that out. It's a very raw, more of the uncut version of my sports talk because it's NBA stuff. Nevertheless, we got a couple of texts on the Gameday Mens Health text line we're about to get into as well. We did that last night, Matt. We watched the NBA games. I had to go to sleep early, though. When I got word I was golfing at 7, I tried to go to sleep early. We tried that new milkshake from Dairy Queen, me and the girlfriend, the frosted Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, gosh, that sounds gas.
The Fruity Pebbles milkshake. And, look, I'm that kind of guy that –
are you a milkshake or ice cream guy?
I'm a huge milkshake guy.
I'm the same way. I'm a more of a milkshake
First
guy.
official job, like tax-deducted job was Comfy Cow.
Okay.
So I don't really enjoy ice cream at all by itself. Big milkshake guy. And I love cereal, Frosted Flakes. The sweet cereals that I enjoy, Frosted Flakes, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and Fruity Pebbles, those are really the only three.
Frosted Flakes, I think, is the best in my opinion.
I don't buy them often because they're very unhealthy, but when I do, those are the three that I go to. I like the milk when you're done.
Yes.
That's almost better than the cereal.
Did you have one of those bowls growing up that had the straw on it?
Yes.
Yes, best bowl ever. Best invention since the toilet.
Think about a bowl of Frosted Flakes, Matt, and you put a little bit of extra milk in there because you're one of those people like me, except it's like the bottom of the bowl, and there's like how if you drink the Fruity Pebbles, you can still get a mouthful of Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah.
That sounds bad, whatever. It tastes just like that. Picture that in a milkshake, and it was quite literally like that. So that's like right up my alley for the dessert. We split one of those. That was awesome. Last night, watched the NBA games, did an In-N-Out podcast, got some things in order for some other things as well. Hit a couple of bets, missed a bet. That's how it goes. Had a few punches that we had some success on from the Ticket Punchers Twitter page. We will be going live at 5:30 on the Big X today. That was fun. But, Matt, I want to get into something because I don't think I told you this story yet. I met Kobe Rogers and Ali Khalifa.
Yeah, you teased this yesterday. It upset me.
I teased it and didn't get into this. Okay, so look. I'm in line getting my, fourth. It's a combination. I'd tell them, look, I walk up there and I say, I don't want the Lily. I want the lemonade and the vodka, but add the cranberry juice in there.
That sounds
for
amazing,
me.
actually.
Because I just, that's just a little bit better for me.
Spike lemonades are the best cocktails of all time.
A little bit of fruit, a little bit of splash of fruitiness in there. It's perfect. I was getting my sixth one of those at this point in the day. It's probably 4:30, 5 o'clock, probably 2 post times until the Derby. And so probably 4. And I'm in line. I'm not in line. I'm walking towards the line. I notice the shortest line is pretty near where I'm at from the steps that I just exited from. And I go straight into this line. And as I'm walking up to this line, you can't miss it. Ali Khalifa's standing right there in front of me. I'm completely behind him. He can't see me at all. To his left, angled diagonally a little bit, is Kobe Rogers. We're standing in line. There's a couple people in front of them. Takes a minute or so before Kobe notices me out of the corner of my eye. I'm not doing anything abnormal. I'm standing completely still behind Ali Khalifa, maybe a little close, but not too close at all. And he notices me. I notice him notice me. He notices me notice him notice me. All right. And then
Sounds like a really true love story.
And then he gets like, out of the view of our eyesight to each other, and I can tell he says something to Kobe Rogers or to Ali Khalifa. Ali Khalifa like tries to glance back but doesn't, and then I kind of sidestep and I said something to Kobe. I'm like, it'd be malpractice for me to not say something to you guys right now. And he's like, bro, I swear I know you from somewhere. And I'm like, yeah, I do U of L sports media or for basketball and stuff. And he's like, oh, okay, that's right.
And he groaned, and he's like, oh, my God.
He's like, okay, but I think it's something more than that, which really surprised me. And I was like, well, funny you say that. We met at the TBT 2 years ago, you and Rain Smith. We were sitting right next to each other. I talked to you guys for a good portion of that game right when you had gotten in, or not long after you had gotten in town. He's like, oh, okay, that's what it is. Ali Khalifa was like, yeah, I think you look a little familiar, too. I'm like, we've seen each other out and about, a few different spots, and he, like, laughed, and he's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And we're talking, we're chatting. I don't remember what the first couple of questions I asked were, but they weren't sitting around anything. I think I asked them what they're going. What do you guys got going? What are you guys doing next? Ali Khalifa says, or Kobe Rogers says, I'm going overseas I'm going overseas, trying to figure that out, what that's going to look like, when that's going to look like. Ali Khalifa pretty much doing the same thing, trying to figure out if that's going to start over here with training and whatnot, and when he'll go over there. And next question leads to, okay, I've got to ask. None of us are in the know about this. We don't get to see much. Tell me about London Johnson. Can he hoop? What's he like? Give me a player comp. Kobe Rogers is like, he like makes like a positive type of, London, that's my dog, that's my boy, and he is a dog. You guys are gonna love him. I'm like, well, what's he best at? What can he do? And he's like, Ali Khalifa was like, he got D. I'm like, yeah. Kobe's like, yeah, he can D up for real. And I said, can he play defense like you? And then Ali Khalifa was like, Kobe's different now. So, I mean, the fact that defense was the first thing that kind of stood out means that I feel like that obviously they're not going to say anything negative about a current player on the team. They're ex-players. They're talking to a media guy. With that being said, you can kind of get a little glimpse of what's being hinted at there, I think. At least I'm going to. And I feel like, the first thing that came to mind was picturing London Johnson at practice, defending, being a high-intensity guy. Matt, that can be, like, if you're going to blow this out of proportion, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean,
to know that that's the first thing that came to mind when London Johnson, not that like he can handle it, he can shoot it, he's tough at getting to the back. They said he's crazy on defense, and I mean, if London Johnson can come in and be a above average defender in the ACC at the guard spot, I feel like we're all kind of sleeping on him a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have
with good reason. We don't know.
Two-headed defensive beast coming off with him and Deshane Montgomery coming off the bench together.
What if they are like the two best wing defenders on the team?
We're going to get out to a slow start against somebody. We're going to go down like 10-4, and they're like, all right, Deshane, London, get in there.
And it's steal, dunk.
Yeah, like, all right, 16-10 now. All right, go on and take a break. Go ahead and get a breather.
It was cool to meet them, talk with them for a second. We chatted about when he finally got to the player comp. He said, like, the way he scores is kind of similar to, like, Fat. I don't know if he wanted to give a Louisville type of comparison. I was kind of going for like an NBA type of comparison when I asked that, but he said, he's kind of like Fat with the way he attacks the basket.
You can kind of see that from his tape.
Yeah, so, he's kind of slow and methodical with his dribble.
More of like a finesse score around the rim.
Yeah, so if he has that, but if he can kind of shoot a little bit, he can get somewhere off the bounce and hit those tough twos at 6'8", 4 feet away. After a couple head fakes, good footwork, things like that, then he can definitely be someone that can come in here and score a few points a game for us, for sure.
If he is a really good defender, like they're saying, which that does excite me, then all I really need to see from him on the offensive end is what we saw in his tape in the G League. Is that like when he
just be a 35% guy?
Yes, be a guy who has the ability off the dribble just to get to his spot and can hit those like pull up mid range jumpers. You know what I mean? And find the space, or like hit the little push shot every once in a while. You don't have to be some crazy volume shooter or some guy who's going to beat every man off the dribble, get to the basket. Be a guy like Chucky Hepburn, which is kind of what looks like he, like, not defensively or at the volume Chucky was, but that ability to find the spot he's comfortable in and pull up over somebody, because he does have a little bit of length.
He does. For us, what is it, 6'5"?
I think he's 6'5".
What he gets listed at. And in the G League tape, he's making he's getting by the screen, getting to the high elbow post, mid-range area, free throw line extended area at the elbow, and he's taking those shots off the dribble in the tape. Obviously, that's highlight.
He's 6'3".
I knew the 6'5" wasn't accurate. He looks shorter than 6'5" in those videos. I just thought that when he first got recruited, that was somewhere like that. He may be able to do something here for us, especially if he can be a defender. got a couple of texts in on the Game Day Men's Health text line. I want to get into these real fast, Matt, before we talk a little bit of NBA here. Texter says, it's Ohio guy texted in. He says, are you excited for your two heroes? My goodness. Heroes? Really? It's like you do this knowing I don't like these guys like that. Stephen A. and Skip Bayless, who will be on First Take together on Friday. Yes, first time these two will be on First Take together since 2016. Matt, I think that Ohio guy, like, if you say one thing, he'll, like, exaggerate it because you said it and there's some truth to it. Stephen A., Skip Bayless, First Take, when they were together, that kind of is what, like, intrigued me in sports media all these years ago. That, like, the way they argued on air about topics that interested me and how I kind of disagreed with both of them on the ways that they go about their takes, but wanted to be doing that kind of a thing, they are an inspiration for why I wanted to do this. Not necessarily a positive one, more so like, wait, if these guys are doing this with this knowledge, I want to be able to do that one day. And then the other thing was the bad questions reporters ask players in post-game press conferences to players and coaches. Those two things are what I'm not going to say made me think I could do this one day, but made me think, hey, if I could get into that spot, I think I could have better questions I can ask.
Look,
how do I get in that spot?
I'm not a Stephen A. Smith or Skip Bayless fan at all. I don't like either of the two. But the thing is,
their terrible arguments are fun.
They are. They are two guys who, if you were somebody who's like, look, I have a significant amount of knowledge about sports, but I also have a personality, they are basically the perfect depiction of you can make new sports news entertaining to watch. Does that make sense? Like, is it a positive way to do it? No. But it is entertaining to watch them go back and forth. But they're also spreading information that you can kind of learn about the sport you're watching.
As a younger kid growing up, trying to like, what can I watch to get even more details on stuff? That was the first access I had to that kind of thing, and made me want to be a sports debater arguer one day if I could. Texter says, hey, Blowman, I know the lights are getting bright for you, but please let Matt borrow Carl so we can have some crawling action on primetime over the summer.
There was a lot of discussion yesterday about, because Mike was making fun of me because I tapped out of the Odyssey. I'm done. I can't do it no more.
I've been there.
And so they were like, y'all, you should hop on Crawler. Or a Dave Teacher from Jeff said he'd bring me one of his own books to try. I was like, you know what? Look, I'm not going to go out there and buy Dungeon Crawler Carl because I just don't enjoy reading like you and Mike do. Like, I enjoy it a little bit, but I'm not like, when I get into a book, I don't get like hooked into it. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be like every night for an hour I read, and it becomes like okay, I get into it, then I want to read more. I'm not like you where I can just pump through books. I can't. Like, that's why, like, if I'll bring you my driver tomorrow. If you bring me the book, I'll give it a try. But I'm not gonna go out and like buy Dungeon Crawler Carl.
I'll bring you the book. And Ohio guy, to answer your question, sorry, we just explained your question there. Yes, I will be tuned in. I will be looking into that because they're gonna purposely try to push the narrative. They're gonna purposely try to, go viral, I guess is the best way to put that. So I want to see in which ways they do that, because don't let LeBron win game one tonight, Matt.
No.
Don't let LeBron win game one and the two biggest Bron haters have to link up on Friday before game two or after game two. I mean, on a 1-1 series, they have to talk about that, how Bron potentially performed. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, but if it could, I predicted a 7-game series. I think we can steal one of these.
I wanted to bring this up on the show today because it was during Mike's show yesterday, but PRTG texted in to Mike's show yesterday. And I'm just going to read his text because it has to do with you. It says, PRTG here, you miss a couple of days and find out Roman is leaving. Don't lie to us and say you'll be back, Roman. You're like Robin Williams in Hook and Trevor was Rufio'd. Shout out, Matt. Get ready to be annoyed by me. And then he says, although you two blowing tickets, cough, cough, Pistons, and Celtics being the team to beat in the East is a true way to go out. More like ticket munchers.
That's mean, PRTG. Probably didn't even listen to my podcast.
Then he said, sorry, I'm just dealing with Roman leaving in my own way.
Fair.
Ticket munchers is crazy.
I'm surprised at how many people have like tweeted at me and messaged me, kind of like not necessarily like sad that there's a change happening on the Rutherford show, but necessarily that they won't get to listen to me as much.
I had to explain it like 10 times. They were like, everybody. It was the notion was like Roman's getting too big or this and that. I was like, it's literally just like a schedule thing.
Yeah,
like Roman needs the afternoons, I need the morning, so we just equally were like,
I'm going to be like less important now.
We can just trade. Like
you've got the bigger producing duties now. Is actually what's happening here. But made the change. I think it'll be ultimately for the best long term. Missed Mike, though. Listened to you guys for a little bit yesterday. Matt, let's get into what we had for our picks yesterday. You went.
Unfortunately, I had
Timberwolves.
I had Spurs minus 11.5. because
that's right. You had the Spurs. Timberwolves messed that up for you.
Yeah, because it said when I put the pick in, Anthony Edwards was out, and then when I went to tune into the game, I had not been tapped in. When I tune into the game during the shoot around, I just see Anthony Edwards warming up and getting ready to come on the floor, and I'm like, what?
Full complete sweat, knocking down jumpers.
What the hell is going on?
I had Gobert 12+ rebounds. I wanted to tweet about this. Almost tweeted about this from the Ticket Puncher account. I watched FanDuel take 2 separate rebounds in 2 separate occasions in this game. Or take a rebound in 2 separate occasions in this game, Matt. He had 6, gets to 7, back down to 6 a couple minutes later.
Mm-hmm. That's the worst.
Has 7, gets an 8, back down to 7 for some reason.
Because they don't ever announce, like, hey, this is the reason why we're taking this away. They just take it away.
Finishes with 10, plays like a minute and a half, 2 minutes of the fourth quarter because they don't play him in the fourth. I thought I was on to something when he had 5 in the first 5 minutes of the game, goes into the half with 7, I believe, and only gets 3 in the second half because he doesn't play the fourth. Unfortunate bad beat there for us. We do hit the over in the 76ers Knicks game on that one. Knicks absolutely handling business there, Matt. Wembanyama breaks the record for playoff blocks in a game, and they still lose.
Was it 15 or was it 12?
He had 12.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Broke it at 10, I believe.
It's only 10?
He's going to break that again.
I feel like 10 is a low number.
It is. But then again,
I get blocks are really difficult to
shot
acquire.
selection changes in the playoffs. You avoid the shot blockers in the playoffs at all costs.
I just can't believe somebody like Dwight Howard or like a Ben Wallace never had.
They probably got close. I mean, one of them probably held that record. I'd like to look into that. I didn't get word of who he took the record from last night. But he does break the record for most blocks in a game, finishes with a triple-double. But it wasn't enough. Minute restriction, one-legged Anthony Edwards goes out there and shows the dog that he is. I mean, in limited time, just the shot selection was perfect. The defense wasn't what you wanted it to be. You could tell he was a full step slow. But with being a full step slow, not having your athleticism, and being a player that kind of relies on it for his play style outside of the shiftiness from 3 with the dribble, right? He was still getting guys jumping and getting open looks.
He got it from Andrew Bynum, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Mark Eaton. They all had 10.
So he tied it at 10, broke it with 11. Bynum with 10.
Andrew Bynum was the.
I mean, I remember Bynum having some electric playoff games for the Lakers with us.
He did it versus Denver in 2012.
Wow. And then he was pretty much irrelevant after that. That's going to wrap us up here on the Running with Roman show. Matt, you got a pick for us tonight?
I do. I'm moving back over to the NHL like I did last week. I'm taking the Avs minus 1.5 at plus 124.
Avs at minus 1.5? That's a risky pick right there.
I think they put up together like 15 goals last game. So
I like it.
It's going to be a high-scoring game.
Lakers, Thunder, over 213.5 in that one. I also like the Lakers to cover the 15.5 points as well, but those are going to be the two big X big bets from Matt and I, and another jab there for you guys as well. Presented by Chad Hennessy and Insure Max. This is going to wrap us up on the Running with Roman show. Thank you all so much for tuning in and listening today. Stay tuned, Mike Rutherford, right after this, 2:30 to 5:30, right here in the Big X.